We need your services. Today we've got Kyle Lamberty's truck on the dyno. This is an 0659 truck. We just did a On3 added turbo kit. We took the kit from On3 and modified it with a V-band cold air pipe, because we've had problems when we push these setups hard that rubber boot between the chargers blows off. And then we also finished out the downpipe because it comes with a flex pipe to continue it about 20 inches, and we finished out fabricating that out. So it should be a nice kit for daily driving and towing. This is not a kit for 1,000 horsepower, but it's a good towing, daily driving setup. It has 100% over Exergy injectors, 12 mil CP3 from Exergy as well, and then he has a Gorin billet transmission. So we're going to put it through its paces today and get it dialed in, make sure there's no fuel surge, and see what kind of power it makes. Okay, we made the first couple pulls on the first revision. It did 769 horsepower on Tune 5, and rail pressure actually regulated really well. Tune 1 did 549 horsepower, but on the lower tunes what I'm seeing is with a 12 mil pump and pulse width commanded all the way back at 1300 microseconds, it's maxing out the rail pressure sensor at 26,110, which is as high as the sensor can read, and it's actually overshooting that a little bit, and then it's chirping the relief valve. If you look in the data log, I can see where rail pressure dips, and you can feel it in the truck. It's little jolts, and it's just chirping the relief valve, and it's almost blowing open. So I'm in that affected range. I'm going to add current to the FCA, so it makes not quite as much pressure, and then we are going to rerun tunes 1, 2, and 3, and then I also added a little bit of fuel to tune 5, see if we can get up to around 800 horsepower. So 800 horsepower I see as a max effort scenario with a stock turbo on the manifold, because you're still pushing all the air coming out of the engine through the stock turbine wheel of the stock turbo with the 77mm On3 added turbo kit over top. Alright, second revision did the job. Tune 1 got us at 488 horsepower, and Tune 5 we were able to add fuel and it did 817 horsepower. So it's a solid number for a stock turbo on the manifold with an On3 added turbo kit. 100% over Exergy's, and we're at 2400 microseconds. That's stretching them pretty far, but I still got plenty of pump left. And the truck really should drive great, even on the, Tune 3 makes 699 horsepower. It's really not pushing it that hard. He'll be able to have good drivability, and towing trailers, he has a lot of that mid-low range boost, which is great for keeping EGTs in check. And that's really why a lot of the guys buy these smaller added turbo kits, is because it's just great for a good work truck that you can still turn it up and have some fun with on the weekends. So we're going to get this thing off the dyno and turn it back over to Kyle, and I think he's going to enjoy it. Okay, today we've got Andrew Richards 2006 on the dyno, and they're coming in from Indiana. And this is a fresh build. I think you guys stayed up most of the night finishing it up. Yep. So we just put the first flash in it. It's a stock long block, and we are going to try to not scatter a rod. But I'll have Andrew go over what all you guys put into it as far as fuel system, turbo, injectors, and transmission.
It's a flat-out diesel built transmission. It's got a Gorin triple disc 2200 stall converter, all billet shafts. And injectors were 192% over industrial injection injectors, 12mm, I could call it a Dragon Flow pump, and a Borg-Warner S476 SXE.
That's 87 turbine?
8710 on a T4, and 2200 relief valve.
Cool. So it's a relatively basic setup, but he's got big fuel, big air, and hopefully we can make some decent numbers and keep enough torque out of it. We generally know if we can keep it under 1,600 foot-pounds, then the stock rods are usually safe. If you go much past 1,700 foot-pounds, then usually the rods end up shorter than you like them, and you end up with a low compression engine that you didn't necessarily ask for. So we will get this thing put on the dyno, put it through its paces, and see what kind of power we can make today. Okay, first dyno pull did 978 horsepower, 1,467 foot-pounds of torque. That was on tune 2. So the injectors are definitely 192%, because for that we were 1,600 microseconds. So I'm reflashing a tune, and I'm actually going down to like 1,200 microseconds on tune 1, 1,400 microseconds on tune 2, and pulled some timing out of it, because I'd like to try to get it down in the 700 horsepower range on tune 1. He wants the 770 tunes, which we're going to target like 780 horsepower for. And then tune 3, 4, and 5, we're going to see how much horsepower we can make. So I loaded some big boy stuff in it for 4 and 5, and we will see if it makes power or blows apart. Okay, we turned it up, and it actually made a little bit less power. It did 973, and looking at the log, rail pressure did not hold. The CP3 was wide open. So now we're going to go back a little bit and find the balance between finding peak rail pressure, maxing the pump out, and seeing if we can make a little bit more power. So hopefully we can at least hit 4 digits on fuel. And then he wants to add some nitrous, because he wants to see how high he can make it on the list. And either way, we're going to make some horsepower. We need your services. There.
Does that rods?
No. Stock bottom end. Look at it being all safe.
Wow!
I told you,
71?
nitrous is magic. Was that too much?
No, it was just right.
All right, well, we finished up the day with a little shot of nitrous. He wanted to make a number, and we did. So we did, what, 1,351 horsepower just by adding some nitrous. It is, on a truck like this, it seemed like as we added fuel, it hit a wall right around 970 horsepower. We added fuel, did not make more power. We got everything right, but when we added nitrous, it picked up a ton of power. So that means he's either restricted on head flow or turbo. We know that turbo can support more, so most likely the stock head is being a restriction. So he at least has an idea of what direction he wants to go. So if you don't want to spend money on a head, you'll probably go buy a nitrous controller and have a break my rods on a button. It'll be a good time. But we appreciate you coming out, and we'll get you off the dyno and send you on your way. Poor Wes Kless, he's going to be so sad, but he got bumped today. Andrew goes to number 2. We'll move all these down. He goes number 2. All right, we're on last phase of tractor update. We put new wheels and tires on. These are 18.5 wide instead of 20 wide, and this will be better for field cultivating and as far as going between the rows, so less compaction, closer to the crops. And so we had to get new rims, paint those, put new tires on, and we still got to get the dual wheels finished painted. But then we also are putting pretty much a whole new AC system on it, because we got it all together and charged the AC, and it did not work. So we ordered a new AC compressor, and we put a whole new line kit on. We're still working on that. And then we also had another little hitch that we added a bunch of work, was putting a new radiator in it. When we put coolant in it, and we figured out that the core where it goes into the top of the tank had been leaking for a while, and apparently it had just been probably 4 or 5 inches low for a while, and you just didn't notice it because when we filled it to the top, it was leaking. So we'd pull the radiator out. We had local shop Aero Radiator re-core it, put a new core in it, and that was kind of a project that we waited on for a week and a half. So we are finally going back together with it, and with a bunch of new parts. So this thing's gonna be ready for action here in a minute. Got the planter monitor mounted, and the switches for killing all the individual rows on the 12-row planter. And then we have it wired in, the wiring down here, tucked it all in nice. It's probably the cleanest wiring that this tractor has ever seen, ever since new. But pretty much we're almost ready to go to the field and start some planting. Okay, getting the air conditioning sealed up on this was a little bit of a challenge. We ended up finding a leak in the evaporator. One of the pipes up here was leaking, so we ended up changing the evaporator. We changed the expansion valve and the dryer, along with an all-new line kit. We got the AC charged this morning, so we're ready to put the top back on here, and we should be ready to go to the field here in a couple hours. Okay, we got the tractor up and hooked up, and we are pretty much ready to go planting. We had some of the fertilizer tanks, we had some stuff that got clogged up, so we had to power wash out the tanks and get that all cleaned out. But we are ready to hit the field, and as you can see with the lights behind me, I think Dad is going to thoroughly enjoy the light that it's given off. It's been really nice just having good light on the planter as we work on it. But it is about 9:30, and we're ready to hit the field for the first time. We got rain coming tomorrow, so we will probably run as long as we can tonight.